want to talk to you this morning about self-care. So this is a topic that's been coming up a lot lately in terms of what that means to you. You know, it means something different to everybody. But what I want to do is explore this idea of if self-care, the notion of self-care is coming from something outside of yourself, that may not actually be considered self-care. And I come to you today after just having taken a long walk, but it has been a week since I did that, and that was what I thought was part of my self-care. But boy, over the last week, I had a hard time getting myself to believe that that's what I needed. So it's not that I resisted doing it. The weather was beautiful. We live in a beautiful space, as you can see behind me. And it wasn't that I didn't have something to listen to on my podcast or whatever. It's just that something inside of me was telling me there was other soul work I needed to do, and that maybe taking that time, and maybe it was just a little holiday for my body. I don't know, but I come to you today, and maybe this yoga class for you is a little bit of self-care today. So we're not going to be doing any fancy yoga stuff. We're just going to be taking this opportunity to be a little mindful, bringing our attention and our awareness into what is it that we need today. And it could be something for the body, but maybe it's something for the soul. So I invite you to take a comfortable seat. Now I came outside and I'm doing a class today for myself without any props, but I invite you to pause this and go and grab a block, a strap, a blanket, whatever you traditionally need. Feel free to grab that, or I'll talk to you about how to modify as we go here. But the other thing that comes to mind today is creating the space of mindfulness and just being able to listen with our inner awareness. So taking the awareness inside the body, and listening to if there are outside voices telling you, setting expectations for what you might need. Even, what are the feelings that you feel like you're supposed to be feeling rather than the feelings that you authentically are feeling? And then can you create that space for whatever feeling that might be to be okay? And my husband and I are learning how to do this with each other, that, we learn that sometimes we perform for each other because we want the other one to be okay. So even if I'm not okay, I'll try to show up like I'm okay so that you're okay. And we just need to break those old patterns and create a new pattern of authentically feeling what I feel without any judgment of right or wrong, and kind of just setting it there without any expectation of what our partner is supposed to feel from what I'm feeling. It just is. And there's such tremendous freedom in that. So I just invite you to take a nice, comfortable seat, elongating the spine and moving the hyoid bone. That's a floating bone that's here in the throat. I just happened to see it on a CT scan I had done the other day. I've never seen my own hyoid bone, but it's a little bone that floats in the neck area here. So instead of taking the head back and creating extra tension in the neck, it's actually, we just kind of take the throat back. And then so that the weight of the head is now resting on the bones of the body that are supporting it, instead of allowing the muscles to contract. So we're just allowing the muscles to relax as the bones hold the weight of the head. Close the eyes and begin to turn inward. So as you become aware of where you're seated today, creating a safe space for yourself so you can start to let the central nervous system let go. How many of us are on high alert? Especially if you've been through trauma, sometimes we can be stuck in that overzealous, high alert, the sympathetic side of the nervous system that's always on the lookout for danger. If you create a safe space for yourself, spiritually, emotionally, mentally, physically, so that you can begin to let go and feel whatever is coming up for you, and allowing that to be okay, whatever that is. So if we feel, if we're in trauma today, we can be connected to past traumas. We want to acknowledge that and kind of begin this experiment of radical acceptance. And what does that mean? Can I just be okay for this moment, to be okay in this space without having to bypass or rush forward or be stuck in the past? We can just be right here, right now. And then there's this notion, if you physically pretend that you're ready to smile, even if you're not. Let the corners of your mouth lift. Somehow that creates a cycle to your body, to your mind, and to your spirit, that there may be a little bit of joy in there. You know, when we're at church and they say, raise your heart or raise your arms to the Lord, we start that physical gesture, and then it creates an inward motion. That even if we feel something a little bit different than what we'd like to feel, it's okay. Moving the body can create a cascade of events that actually we begin to feel the way our body is moving by lifting our heart. So notice now, if you slump forward, cutting off the blood supply and the breath, versus lifting up the heart, creating openness for the air and the blood to flow, lifting up the heart, and feel free to lift your arms up. So whatever that means to you, if you want to gather your scattered energy, all the energy that you've given away to everyone else, and just bring that into the place of your heart. Adding the breath, inhale, lift the arms up to the sky, maybe in gratitude for this day, for the Lord, for whatever blessings are coming your way, and just let your heart open to receive those blessings. Do that one more time. Inhale, gather everything up and around, and take that into the place of your heart. Beautiful. When you're ready now, come to all fours and create a little bit of flow here on all fours. So I like to curl my toes under and press the fingertips down, spreading the fingers wide, and inhale, lift the heart. Let the belly release toward the earth, so you start to create a curve in the low back. And then exhale round, look toward the belly. And go back and forth here with the breath. So we're connecting the breath with the movement, which again creates that series of events. We start to integrate, right? When we might feel disintegrated some days, our practice here on our mat, we create the mindfulness, we create the movement, and now all of a sudden we might start to feel our energy, our ideas, our mind starts to integrate with our highest self, so we can become into that place where we feel our best. Good, let's go one more here. Exhaling, pushing up into the upper back. And then as you're pushing up here through the spine, just shift your hips side to side. So explore here a little bit, side to side. And then let's take your hips over to the right, drop your belly down to the floor, hips over to the left and up. So you're just going to make a circle here with your spine. Think about a jump rope going around one way, and then let's go the other way. So circling up and around. Good, let's do one more, and coming back to center, and then move your weight forward onto your hands and move your weight back. So we're just exploring all four corners of your posture here on your hands and knees. So feeling yourself into the earth, grounded, stable and strong, but moving, just like the water behind you. You can't really see it from here, but there is a really fast-moving river that I can hear. You probably can't hear it because the noise canceling. So you just come forward and back again. So sometimes I can't speak and move at the same time, but just like the moving water, allow your body to move. In the same way, the river is in the banks. It's kind of starting to overflow the banks just a little bit, but the banks of the water, they're keeping the water in. The same way, we create that strong foundation, and then we create the fluidity. Good. Now walk your hands forward, one hand's length, and curl your toes under and come up into your first down dog. So as you're here in your down dog, here's the little pointers. If this is a new practice for you, feel free to come down onto your knees at any time to take a little break here. You're going to spread your fingers as wide as you can, press down into the mat. So now see my hands are ahead of my shoulders. So when I lift my hips up, and maybe you want to start with some bent knees, especially if your hamstrings are tight, if your back is tight, pushing your hands away from you and then begin to lift your hips. And maybe your knees are bent, You can explore here, bending one knee and then the other. Or if you like the version where both legs are more straight, you can lift up onto your tippy toes and drop your heels. So play around here in your down dog, whatever works for you. And again, coming back down onto your knees. I really like to over-exaggerate the bending of the knee and the twisting of the hip. Gets up into my back. But at any point, if you are needing to take a break, this child's pose is a wonderful place to regain yourself, regain your breath. Nice grounded posture. And at any time, you can just pop back up to your down dog. And again, bending one leg and then the other, or coming up onto your tippy toes and dropping your heels. Pressing the hands away from you. Reach the right leg up to the sky and swing the right leg through up between your hands, dropping the back knee down. Come upright, reach your arms up to the sky. Take the left or the right hand onto the left wrist and pull the left arm over just slightly to feel that whole left side begin to lengthen from the knee all the way up to the arm. And then take the left hand to the right knee and right hand behind you. Turn and look behind. You can drop that hand down if you need or stay upright. Good. Bring both hands around out to the inside of your right foot and to point the right toes out to the right. Take the knee out to the right. You can stay here or you can straighten your back leg. Good. Step back to downward facing dog. Take the left leg up to the sky. Staying with the breath, your big long breath in. Exhale, pushing the right heel down, left heel up. And then swing the left foot through, dropping the back knee down and come upright. Feeling the earth beneath you, lifting the heart up. Take the right hand with the left, or take the right wrist into the left hand and pull up and slightly over, elongating the right side of the body. Good, take the right hand to the left knee, left hand behind you. Again, stay upright if you need to bring that hand down. Your right, getting a nice twist. And then bring the hands to the inside of the left foot. Walk the left toes out to the left. So here's a little experiment. A train just went by. Can you hear that in the background? Sometimes that's a very grounding noise for me. I started yoga where there were trains that went by, and that taught me to stay inward. Do not get distracted, just staying inward here with your energy. Straightening the back leg if you like, dropping that back knee down. Good, and straighten the back leg here, step forward, forward, forward. So now in your forward fold, if your hamstrings are tight, keep a bend in the knees. Inhale, lift halfway up. Exhale, release back down. Again, knees bent or legs straight, you decide. If you need a block, this is where you can do that, or you just use your legs to press against. And then bring your hands to your hips, elbows to the sky. Inhale and rise. All right. Inhale, lift your arms up to the sky. Feet are hip width apart and parallel. Lean over to the left. Push down through the right foot. Stay with the breath. Inhale back to the top and over to the other side. Good. Come back to the center. Exhale, release down to the forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway up. And exhale, release down. Step the left leg back to deep lunge. I think my headphones just disconnected. Let's see. There we go. Reach the right arm up to the sky. Am I still recording? Let me just double check here. Yeah, okay. So right leg up, or right arm up to the sky for twisted lunge. And then drop the back knee down. Wiggle the front foot forward just a couple inches. And then pull back on the toes as you walk your hands back. Dragging the heel back, push through the ball of the big toe, spreading the toes wide. So you activate the foot, you're activating the leg all the way up. Drawing the heel back, pressing through the ball of the big toe. And then explore here. Move your hips side to side. So kind of you're moving your inner thighs out to the right and then scoop the tail under. And then press the top of the foot down. So this is really a nice stretch over the top of the foot. And you may feel a little bit of a muscle cramp on the bottom of your foot. If so, just grab it. You can come out of the posture or come in and out until that cramp sometimes means you can be dehydrated, but also the muscle is just confused as where it's supposed to be doing. So you can just kind of tell it by grabbing it, pushing the foot down, lengthening through the front of the foot. Good. Step, go ahead and straighten the back leg. Step back to downward facing dog. Bring the left foot up between the hands. Twisting left arm up to the sky. You can come up onto the right fingertips. You can do that here where you move your hips side to side. Scooping now the left hip under. Drawing the shoulder blades together on the back. And bringing the fingertips down. Drop the back knee. Wiggle the front foot forward. Pull the toes back towards your knee. But push through the ball of the big toe. So you're isometrically dragging the heel back, but pushing forward at the same time. So there's a lot of energy going on here, moving the energy around. Think about we're not stuck. We're like that flowing river, moving our hips side to side, creating that mobility, creating awareness, unlocking some things through movement. Good. Now come forward, and then place the top of stretch the top of the foot by placing the toes down. And again, if the arch starts to cramp, just kind of massage it, come out of the posture, whatever you might need. And sometimes when we haven't done a posture like this before, you may cramp as your body's wondering what to do. And then over time that dissipates. That's why we call this a practice. It's something that we want to do over and over to help our body understand how it can move, waking up different muscle groups. Good. Step forward, straightening the back leg. Step forward, forward fold. Bring your hands to your hips, elbows to the sky. Inhale, come up to standing. So shut your eyes here for just a moment and notice how things may have shifted for you in just a few moments here. I think we've been here less than 20 minutes, and notice how things may have shifted for you already. So it's not a requirement, right? We're just noticing. All right. So bringing your hands to the heart. I like to press the thumbs into my chest, the chest back into the thumbs. Creating that awareness in this present moment. Inhale, reach the arms up to the sky. Again, bringing the blessings down into the place of the heart. And do that again. Inhale, lift up. And this time, exhale, come down to your forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway up. Good. Exhale, release down. Step the right leg back. Come into deep lunge. And back into straight front leg. And do that again. Inhale, forward. Exhale, back. And one more time. Inhale, forward. Exhale, back. Now once you come back, I want you to press into the ball of your big toe. Okay, I have no idea what's happening to my headphones here, but I hope you can still hear me. All right, move your hips out to the left. Draw the left hip back and the right hip forward and press down through the ball of the big toe. So I don't know if you can see this with the way my shirt's hanging and whatever, but this front leg has got a slight bend in it, and the energy is pulling up but also pushing down. So we've got this energetic seesaw, energetic push and pull motion. So we're not just overly stretching, we're creating that strength and length is really the way that it's best to describe that. Good, now bend into the front knee, come upright, inhale, lift the arms up to the sky, bending into the front knee, straightening the back leg, exhaling, elbows come back. So inhale, reach, exhale, elbows come back. Let's do a few more of these. Inhale and exhale. Go with the rhythm of your own breath. And let's do one more here. Nice job. Bring your hands down to the mat. And then swivel your back heel down. Bring your forearm onto your front thigh. Bring your top arm to the hip or to the sky or over the ear. Nice. Drawing the elbow back so you're opening the knee toward the little toe side of the foot. Good. And then cartwheel your hands up, coming into warrior two. So pushing down through both feet, move your inner thighs back. So you're going to kind of in, back, and apart, and then scoop the tailbone down. Feel the strength of the legs, but the nice openness of the upper body. Look out over your left hand. Staying with the breath. Another inhale. And exhale, straighten the front leg. Make your feet parallel. Come into a wide-legged forward fold here. So if you want to use a chair, a block, or bring your hands down to the earth, just listen to your body. Feel free to bend one knee and then the other. Good. Walk yourself around, straightening the right toes to the short end of your mat. Bending into that front knee, walk your elbow up, hand on the hip, up to the sky or over the ear. So again, we're going to move the thighs back, scoop the tailbone, draw the knee toward the little toe side of that foot. Doing the second side here. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, cartwheel your hands now to warrior two. Thighs back, scoop the tail, send the energy down the standing legs. So the legs are firm and strong, but the upper body is open. Right? So we think about how Jesus moved in the world. He was very stable and strong, very forthright, but soft. So we want to emulate that, the qualities of being firm, firmly grounded, firmly rooted in His Word and His truths, but open-hearted and compassionate. So we don't get rigid. Right? Good. Now walk your hands down, come up onto the ball of your back foot, and bend and straighten into your right leg this time. So creating that fluidity, bend and straighten. Good. And the next time we come straight, stay here, move your hips way out to the right, scoop the tailbone, push down through the ball of the big toe. Again, I've got a soft bend in that knee. When I press down through the ball of the big toe, that automatically softens that knee. I don't know what is happening to my AirPods, why it's telling me something. Well, I hope this recording is working. Good, and then bend into the front knee, come upright, lift the arms up to the sky, and exhale, elbows down. Do the same thing on this side. Draw the belly button back as you reach forward. Exhale, elbows back. So lengthening and strengthening the back leg, bending into the front knee. Let's go one more. Moving with the breath. Seeing if you can elongate the breath. Good. And now reach down again. We're going to come around to that wide-legged forward fold. Come around again to the left foot. This time we're going to wiggle the left foot to the right side of the mat. and come onto the little toe side of the foot. So I'm lifting up the big toe side, coming onto the little toe side and drawing that knee down. So the right knee is behind the right wrist, walking. Okay, I did that wrong. Left, it's left. This is my left knee to my left wrist and my right leg back. Sorry about that. I think you got it, right? So here's what I want to tell you on this. If you push into your hands, move your hips. Again, we created that fluidity in the hips already, right? We're going to do that again. Hips go out to the left, and then scoop the tailbone down into that space you create. That'll get a deeper stretch into that left side. Now here's some modifications. You can place your block under your left hip, but we want to be creating that forward motion of the hip bones. So they're not sideways, they're both facing forward. Again, I'm not sure how well you can see that here, but if these are my hip bones, they're facing forward. And then I'm going to come forward. I can go onto my elbows, or I can lower all the way down. So listen to your body. You can stay upright, you can use a prop, a pillow. But now you're going to ground yourself here. Inhale, draw your legs toward one another to create that strength, and then create the length by exhaling, drawing your knees apart from one another. And now just breathe, connecting with your breath. And walk yourself back up. Push into your hands. Step back to downward facing dog. Notice the difference between your right and left hips. Walking your feet out. And then same thing now with your right foot this time. Right foot comes to the left side of your mat, up by your wrist. Roll onto the little toe side. Walk your left leg back, dropping that knee down. And it may take you a little bit to get into a comfortable position. Lift your hips, flare your hips out to the left or to the right, and then scoop the tailbone into that space. Elongate the spine, coming forward. Walk your left leg back a little bit if that feels good. Staying here, lowering down, resting your forehead. To lift yourself up. This time you're going to bring that left leg around to the outside of your right foot, your right knee. Hug the knees into your chest. Create that length in the spine. Hug the thigh toward the belly as you take your right shoulder toward the left thigh, left hand behind you, and twist. Slowly unwind, and now you're going to open to the other side. So creating that fluidity in the spine and in the hips. Good, and come back to center, and then switch. So take your left foot towards your right heel, your right hip rather, right heel over your left. Hug the knee into the chest, and then open the right hand. Take the left shoulder to the right knee. There's a lot of rights and lefts going on here. I know it's hard to see. Still breathing, even though it's a little bit crunched as you turn. That's the idea, that you're still breathing, even though things might get a little congested there. that teaches us to breathe through life as life gets congested. Take your left hand out now to the left and open to the left. Good, and come to the center. Take your legs out in front. Curl the toes back towards your knees and press the heels down. And notice again, I've got a slight bend in the knee. So if you're hyperextending, those heels will come up off the floor. We want to press the heels down. And then cross the right ankle over the left knee. Move your left hip back and reach the heart toward the toes. So notice we're trying to keep the spine long. This doesn't look like I'm really going very far. It's very different when we curve the spine. That's something different. So right now we're trying to keep the spine long and reach the heart forward. Curl the toes back, push through the ball of the big toe so that leg is activated. Good, and then come back, press your hands into the earth behind you. Bring your left foot to the floor. And now this becomes a hip stretch. What was a hamstring stretch is now a hip stretch. So here's the trick. If you can feel this into your right hip just fine, stay here. Otherwise, move your hips forward, walk your hands in. The closer your hips are to your heels, the deeper the stretch is, but we want to be really mindful. Again, remember we talked about at the beginning, we're not listening to external expectations. We're listening to the body and moving organically and authentically from the inside out. So just listen. I'm just giving you options here, and then it's your chance to listen to your body. Good, straighten both legs out. Cross the left ankle over the right knee. Move the right hip back. You can even manually grab it and pull it back. And inhale, elongate the spine. Reach the heart toward the foot. The toes are lifted and separated, pushing through the ball of the big toe so that leg is activated. That keeps us safe. Develop strength so we can move into that space of length safely. Hands can be on that top leg or reaching forward or reaching the foot. So notice this leg is not allowing that bottom leg to bend. So this might be a little bit trickier of a hamstring stretch. Good, and step, come back, hands behind you, bring the foot to the floor. And if you want to move your hips in, you can. Lifting the heart. Attempt to push the left foot through the right knee and see if that goes deeper into that left hip. Good, and release. Bring the soles of your feet together. Keep your hands behind you. Again, trying to lengthen the spine, letting the knees naturally open to the side. Maybe I can turn towards you here so you can see. So using the earth beneath me to push me and like elongate the spine helps the knees open more organically. So I'm not pushing the knees down. It's because as I push my hands down, I'm creating the curve in the low back, and that creates the proper alignment in the pelvis. The opposite of being slumped, right? We slump and the knees come up. Can you see that? Push my hands down, my knees open. So I'm not moving the knees, it's just simply my posture with my upper body. Isn't that funny? All right, I think we're ready to lay onto our back. As we come to a close here, we're gonna come onto our back and rock ourselves, and make sure I'm in the, rock ourselves side to side. And then take the knee, in fact, take the whole body over to the right. Take the left arm up to the sky and begin to open the chest. Open the shoulder, open the gaze out to the left. Your right hand can be on top of your left knee as you slowly turn and look to the left. You can have a block between your knees. You can play around with bending and straightening the top leg here. That would be the left leg. You can go deeper by taking the right foot toward the front of your mat and open that way. So you've got options here. But don't overdo it. Your low back won't be happy if you do. In either case, take one more deep breath and then slowly bring that left arm over across the body to the right. So you're here kind of in the fetal position. And then hug the belly button toward the spine. And let's roll onto the other side. Now, both knees are over to the left, right arm lifts up to the sky, opening the chest, the shoulder and the gaze out to the right. You may find one side is much easier than the other, and yoga can help balance out right and left side, because sometimes it's an overuse thing, sometimes it's an injury. You just don't know why one side, we're just very asymmetrical in how we live our life, so this can kind of bring a little more symmetry into the body. So again, you can straighten the top leg, straighten the bottom leg. Whatever you want to do here. And then when you're ready, bring both knees together, the right hand across the body. Now come onto your back as we close our class in this relaxed position. So let me give you a couple options here. You can bring the feet, the knees bent, feet out to the side, and let your knees come in toward one another. Press the elbows down, walk the shoulder blades underneath you. Good, and release your hands, palms face up. If that feels okay on your back and you want to try just to lengthen the legs, do so. If you start to feel that in your back, that would be you want to come back to the bent knees. So now just let your feet flop open to the side. You're allowing the earth to hold you. Feeling the connection of your back, the back of your body to the earth. You're grounded, stable, and strong. So that the front of your body, the top layers, the inner and the front of your body can just relax and drape over the bones. So staying in this position as long as you like. I'm going to come upright so I can read to you a little bit here. Just sharing with you about the seasons of life. There are some seasons where we more readily flow and find rhythm in the body. And there are other seasons where we might get stuck. It could be trauma, it could be an illness, an injury. And when we truly are listening to our body from the inside out, we allow ourselves to go with the rhythm of what is happening. Thinking about the banks of the river, think about one side of the river is more chaotic, one side of the river may be more rigidity, where life really happens in the flow of the river, where we can find that balance between chaos and open-endedness and the rigidity. And we find that life happens in this place. We do need the boundaries in life to keep us flowing in the river. And we want to keep ourselves receptive. Exploring all the layers, the physical, the emotional, the mental, the spiritual, and the relational. And knowing that there's always hope in healing, there's always hope in the inner knowing, and then being surrounded by good resources that can help keep us upright, moving forward. So staying in this relaxed position as long as you like, or the way I like to have you come out of this posture is slowly beginning to move your fingers and your toes. Bending your knees, hugging your knees into your chest, and then rolling onto the right side. And stay there, again, for as long as you like, or when you're ready, pressing your hand into the earth and coming up sideways. Coming into the seated position. And I like to end the class as we began, so you can take a little inventory of how do I feel, how was I feeling, and how may I have shifted. And sometimes that's sometimes it's very, very subtle. So I just encourage you to stay aware of yourself, stay nurturing to yourself. What is it that you need? And it's not selfish to do so. It's a healthy selfishness. You show up better for everybody else in your life when you take care of yourself, when you set boundaries around you, and you bring all of these notions together, and knowing that sometimes we get into a little slump. Sometimes it means just showing up for ourselves and letting the process take care of itself. So thank you for walking this journey with me. I hope you have a wonderful day. I just offer you all the blessings. I thank you for being here. I look forward to next time.